So I got married at age 27. We had a child, got divorced 10 years later. So I was thrust into the dating world. And a friend of mine at work, a guy friend, said, "Don't worry, Mark, dating will be easy for you." Talk about delusional. And he said, "In fact, I predict you'll be married again within 3 years, 5 at the max." So at first it was kind of easy. Everybody had somebody they wanted me to meet, so I probably burned through about 15 to 20 blind dates. Then I went out with somebody at work. Don't do that! A nice person, nice relationship, but when it ends, what you did, you have to see each other every day. So then I just dated different people, and it always ended. Either I broke up with them or they broke up with me. And when I hit the 5-year point, I was like, hey, this is supposed to be over. You know, my friends said I'd be married by now. I'm supposed to have met the love of my life. So shortly after that, I have a younger brother. He's 6 years younger. He was still single. And he called me and said, hey, he did the Boston to New York AIDS ride. He rode his bicycle with 3,000 other people to raise money for AIDS research. And he called me at the end and said, the weirdest thing happened. We were in Connecticut, and we had a break there, and there's 3,000 cyclists. And who do I see in this crowd but my old junior high school prom date from 20 years ago? She's a TV news reporter. She was covering the event. So I remembered her name. I remembered my brother in a beige tux and a puffy shirt driving my father's Cadillac in 1980 to pick up Mary Beth Christie. So I said, yeah, I remember her. She must be in her mid-30s. Is she married, kids? He goes, no, she never got married. So I said, I just started a job in Connecticut. I'd like to meet her. So he said, well, why don't you call her up? I said, she'll think I'm delusional. Hi, you went to the prom with my brother 20 years ago. Do you want to go out? So I didn't do anything. And then another 6 months went by. Now I'm in Connecticut. I'm at a hearing. I'm part of a small group of people starting a charter school for low-income children. And there's a big hearing, and I'm going to testify. And the media's there, and I see a female news reporter. So I went up to her and I said, hi, any chance you know another reporter named Mary Beth Christie? So she says, sure, we work together all the time. She has a desk right next to mine. So I said, here's my business card. Will you give it to her? And I write on the back of it, hi, you went to the prom with my brother 20 years ago, blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking she's going to get this card and call me, right? No, wrong. More delusional thinking on my part. So now another 6 months go by. Now I'm reading a magazine I've read all my adult life. It's a Catholic magazine about priests and nuns who work all over the globe in the hardest, most poor parts of the world. Who's writing these articles now but Mary Beth Christie? She's in this magazine. So I'm thinking she must have left the TV news business. She writes an article about a priest in El Salvador, about a nun in Guatemala who works with gang members. So I'm like, this is really weird. So right after that, it was the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and I'm at a buddy of mine's house. He's married with a bunch of kids. And after dinner, the kids leave, and he says, so Redmond, what's going on with the ladies? Now you have to understand, all my married guy friends with kids, they thought I was living like this Sex in the City lifestyle, In their heads, I was like the 45-year-old single dad Carrie Bradshaw. And I wasn't. I was mostly bored and lonely. But in their minds, they were living vicariously through me. So I said, well, I was dating this one person, but it ended. And he said, so what are you going to do now? So I said, well, there's this one person. Her name just keeps popping up, popping up, popping up. And I'd really like to meet her. But it's the holidays, Christmas is coming. So maybe after the new year, I'll try and find some way to reach her. So he said, well, listen, I was unemployed, and everyone said I'd never find a job during the holidays. And I found a job during the holidays. If I can find a job during the holidays, you can find romance. So I went home. I was influenced by that. I went home that night, and I thought, one of my best friends is a priest who's actually a medical doctor. He worked in Tanzania for years with AIDS patients. He's back in the U.S. now. I wonder if he knows her. So I emailed this guy, said, do you know this Mary Beth Christie? He emailed back, said, I know her. So I said, can you get me your email address? He said, let me ask. He did the right thing. So he gave me the email address. So I emailed her, hi, you went to the prom with my brother 20 years ago. I live in Connecticut. You were living in Connecticut. I were. And she emailed back. And then I emailed her. And every day I would rush home from work. This is before you could check your emails on your phone. And I would rush home and we'd email each other. And this went on for weeks. Finally, she emailed me and said, I feel like Meg Ryan in the movie You've Got Mail. Do you really exist? And if so, can we please meet? So I emailed her back and said, well, I have a son. I have a teenage son. I'm a single dad. She emailed back, that's fine. That's no problem. So anyway, we agreed to meet on a December night at 6 p.m. at a place called Bank Street Cafe in downtown Stamford. Now, we've never even talked on the phone. I've never seen a picture. So I'm standing on the corner of this street. People are walking by. I'm like, is that her? Is that her? And then finally, way down the street, I saw a woman with white pants and a pink sweater and a yellow jacket. And as she got closer, I remember thinking, man, could I be this lucky? Because this woman was beautiful. And I was that lucky. And she walked up and said, Mark? And I said, Mary Beth? And the restaurant we were going to go to, there was a Christmas party going on. So I said, there's a nice place a few blocks up. Let's just walk up there. I don't remember doing this, but months later she told me, we went across the street and I took my right hand and just kind of tucked it under her left elbow because there was a car coming. And she said when I did that, she felt this physical sensation in her body and the thought popped in her head, this is it. This is the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. This is the person I'm going to marry, which is exactly what happened. So we just celebrated our 14th anniversary 2 weeks ago. We have a little boy named Liam, he's 12. We have a dog and we live in Vermont and we're very, very happy. So delusional thinking can sometimes be a good thing. It can sometimes lead you to great happiness. It can sometimes cause you to find the love of your life, just like I did. Thank you.